Hey guys, considering the overdone intro, you should already know what this video is about. This is the Ride with Lenses LED control board made for micro RC cars. This kit is suitable for people who have some DIY and soldering skill. If you do not fall into this category, don't worry as there are alternatives. You can instead go for one of the pre-built bodies which are all wired and drilled manually by Kenneth, the owner of RWL. I personally bought a red Toyota Supra and it looks really good. This kit supports headlights, daylights, brake lights, parking lights, hazard lights, custom activated or emergency lights, and exhaust backfire. It also has support for pop-up headlights using a servo if you have the skill to do so. These lights can be controlled manually through the controller using an extra channel, where you have multiple modes to select from to achieve the behavior you want. This light kit is meant for use with custom electronics, so if you're using a Kyosho Mini Z, it's very likely that you would not be able to make full use of the light kit's functionality. Now let's get into the details. The board supports an input of about 4.8 to 6 volts and works by using a splitter in between the receiver for both the ESC and your steering servo or gyro to be able to read your throttle and steering inputs. The throttle inputs are used to detect and activate the brake lights, backfire and parking lights, while the steering inputs are used to detect and activate the left and right turn signals. Then there is an extra channel that you should plug directly into the receiver, which is used to control the headlights, custom or emergency lights, and the hazard lights. The behavior of the headlights and custom lights can be changed in the 3 different light modes, which I will go through later. Now, this is the LED board. This one is already pre-wired for the video, but anyways, there are 2 sides of the board with multiple markings. For the lights, there are 9 different terminals labelled from 1 to 9. On one side of the board, it is positive, while the other side is labelled negative. This is where you can solder the SMDs and LEDs directly to the board. These are the ports used for the lights. Then, you have a button to toggle between modes and some other ports that you have to connect to the receiver or the servo. As mentioned, there are 3 different light modes which you can switch between, but generally they all follow the same rules. In mode 1, head and tail lights will always stay on. By pressing button once, you'll make the headlights blink. By pressing the button 2 times on the controller, you can toggle custom lights. By pressing it 3 times, you'll toggle hazard lights. For mode 2 is also very similar to mode 1. Pressing a button once also makes the headlights blink. Pressing the button 2 times makes custom lights flicker alternately. This makes it really suitable for making police cars and I think it's really cool. Pressing it 3 times toggles the hazard lights. For mode 3, lights are off by default. Pressing the button once turns on and off the head and tail lights. Turning on the lights have a short delay to support pop-up headlights. Pressing it 2 times toggles custom lights, and pressing it 3 times as usual toggles the hazard lights. There's a whole lot of settings available for the board, and going through them one by one would take too long, so you'll see some of them on the screen instead. But for the more important ones, while the ESC is on, pressing the button on the circuit board once will toggle the turn signals, and pressing the button 5 times will switch brake lights mode to flashing mode. And while the ESC is off, holding the button, then turning the ESC on, and only releasing the button after the lights start blinking, will switch between the mentioned light modes. This has been a heavily technical video, but as you already know, that's what normally happens here in my channel. Thus far, I think it's actually the best light kit that I know of that is actually catered for the micro RC scale, and I really highly recommend getting one for yourself as it really adds to the scale look of the car. With the current setup, you can pretty much have fully working sirens, neon lights, exhaust, head, tail, reverse, and even pop-up headlights, which is actually pretty insane. It's about 25 USD for the board itself, and you can get LEDs, SMDs, wires, and anything you might need to get started at a decent price on the Ride with Lenses website. If you have a custom body you would like to modify but don't have the time or skill, do reach out to their Facebook page, and I'm sure it will be taken care of. Also, do note that all the custom or pre-built bodies are only currently being made by one guy, Kenneth, the owner of RWL. So please be patient and understanding, as it can take up to multiple weeks depending on how many others have ordered before you. If you plan to order anything from Ride with Lenses now, the owner was happy to share with me a discount code that you guys can use, which you can find in the description below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and keep on drifting.